Sony shuts down Firewalk Studios after 400. Oh, Concord game failure. Review Tech USA deletes YouTube channel after months of drama. Walgreens $1 cookies are now $2. Cookies. All right, let me see. This cookie thing intrigues me. Where are these $1 cookies that are now $2? I'm not seeing anything in the news about it. Where is it? Walgreens $1 cookies. I don't know, man. No, I'm kidding. So Review Tech USA. I did not know he deleted his channel. I never really watched Review Tech USA. I know from time to time he would cover like tech news, and he had like very little years ago when I started YouTube PC content, but I think he was more like a tech/gaming drama news coverage channel. But I did not know he deleted his channel. Why is that? Yeah, so it is gone. Wait, what? Review Thoughts USA has sadly passed away. Now retiring. Okay, I can't tell what's real or not. No, this seemed like a troll channel. Huh. Yeah, I don't really follow that channel, but let's see. The whole Concord. So them shutting down Firewalk Studios after $400 million. Honestly, games fail all the time. I don't know if this is considered the biggest failure. Firewalk Studios. They shut down Firewalk Studios. They shut down Firewalk Studios. Okay. I mean, did they have any other games under their belt aside from Concord? Also, didn't they leave Concord at... They took it down and they're planning on potentially bringing it back with a different play model and maybe like free-to-play microtransactions or something like that. That's the last thing I heard about it. They don't even have... okay, they have a website. Our studio. So how many games have you... oh, they're based in Bellevue. So very close to me. Bellevue is like 20 minutes away from me. I mean, it looks like Concord was their only game, so... Ooh, I mean, that kind of sucks. I've never really followed or checked out the game, but just the loss of jobs and people, you know, being put out of work, and this being a studio's right in the backyard, you know, so close to me in my home state, that's unfortunate to hear about, but, I mean... If you put out a game that people aren't interested in and put that much money into it for it to be a failure, unfortunately, that's just how it works. What's up, Big Country? What's up, your boy Ram? What's up, Polaris Racer? Magnus Nilsson. We got Techno Geek 3D on the vertical stream, putting a comma in the chat. Lax Lifter says, "How's your foot?" So I stepped on my wife's house slipper, very similar to something like this. You know, just a house slipper we wear around the house because we have hard floors and it's either cold or it gets dirty. Compared to carpet, like your foot, even if you like, you know, vacuum and stuff like that, with hard flooring, it's a lot easier to track like dirt and stuff on your feet. So I stepped on my wife's version of the slipper. Hers is much tinier than mine. And normally that should be okay, but my foot is so sensitive to like unlevel like ground that if I step in, like when I have to mow the lawn, when I step in like a slight little divot or a slight uneven ground and my foot just is not, you know, ideally in the flat position, it freaking hurts. So I did that this past week and I feel like I set myself back in terms of like messing up my foot a couple of weeks. But I'm walking, so I've been walking for a couple of months now, so that's good. It's just I can't return to doing like the physical activity like roller skating and lifting weights and stuff anything that requires load bearing on my foot and like ankle stability and mobility and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the update on my foot so far. I don't know. At this point, I'm thinking of looking into another doctor because the current ones that I was seeing, they seem to just be set on letting me heal naturally over time, and I don't. It's been 4 months now since this all happened. I guess I don't know what the natural healing time for things like this is. I haven't really had injuries like this in the past, so is it more reasonable to wait out 6 months before I look for other options? So I don't know. 8 more viewers when the feet was shown. Yeah. Best website for secondhand GPU in India. Unfortunately, I don't know. Do we have any Indian viewers from India in the comments or watching right now? If so, let us know, because I would think if you don't have good local markets or local PC stores, websites like AliExpress, and I have a Temu video coming up, but Temu would be the next option, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't have any specific like local to India like e-tailers sites that I know off the top of my head, unfortunately. So what's up, the geese is I got a 5600 XT on eBay. Shame it arrived broke, so I'm waiting for a refund. Yeah, that's a good thing about eBay. You can, for the most part, get your money back if something goes wrong. Do you think the scammer tried to, or not the scammer, do you think the seller tried to scam you, or is it legit and it just didn't work? Black Square Gaming says C is for cookie. What's up? Robert Fix It. Yo, Adam Williams. Hi, all my vertically challenged friends. Let's see. What's up, Techno Geek 3D? What up? Magnus Nilsson. I just remembered. Yes, I don't know if horizontal is the best way. It is the original way. Oh yeah, Halloween! What's up, Logan? Hope you're doing well. Were you here last week when we pulled up your setup and looked at it real briefly? How's everything going, by the way, at Job Corps? But yeah, so tomorrow's Halloween. Do y'all celebrate it? I guess I should ask. For us, we have a get-together with family this coming weekend that will be Halloween themed. Saturday night, but for tomorrow specifically, because it is on a work day, I'm not a huge Halloween person myself, but our neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods that people like to come to for candy. So we do hand out candy, and we get a decent amount of visitors every year. Hopefully the weather's nice tomorrow, just for the the kids. The trick-or-treating in the cold, wet, dark rain kind of sucks, so hopefully weather is not raining. And yeah, we just hand out candy. We picked up some, the big bag of candy from Costco, and yeah. So aside from that though, no real celebrations. Maybe watch some horror movies with my wife. We've kind of been doing that all month. We watched like quite a few, not just horror, but like thriller movies as well. But yeah, I'm lazy. Like getting a costume, dressing up, going out to like, a get together and stuff. That's already a lot of work for me, so yeah. There are events there? Nice. So they do put on stuff for you guys. That's good to see. I thought I was going to suffer not having a costume, but yeah, remember that I have a Viking tunic and 2 belts, so I had to DIY. Nice. I 3D printed a Sub-Zero mask. Back with the Sub-Zero. Chris, you have a picture? You want to put it on the Discord stream submissions of your past Halloween costume? Let's see. Yeah, so for me, my Halloween costumes are reusing old cosplay that I've made in the past. So yeah, I'm not all about getting and spending money on new costumes and stuff like that. So I'm reusing a costume. Benny Foreman says, just discovered your channel 2 days ago and I like it. Thanks for the support. Support from a YouTuber from Belgium. thank you for your support from Belgium all the way over here to Washington State. Going to a Halloween Horror Night Friday at Universal Studios. Nice. I don't know if I've ever been to a theme park during Halloween. I've been to like a themed haunted house and stuff like that, but not part of a theme park. Just like the local radio stations, they throw on like haunted houses, and I haven't been for years, but some of them were pretty good. Pretty creepy, a lot of jump scares, stuff like that. But it's kind of like most things nowadays where it's like, it's kind of short. You're paying not a insignificant amount of money. It's like, I don't know, 30 bucks a person or something, and then you're waiting in line for like hours. So I think I'm just over that at this age. Donut Farmer is currently building my new PC. Nice. Just cable managed and software to do now. Once you have it done, cable managed, get the pictures up in the Discord server. Just show it off with all the specs and stuff like that. We'd love to see it. Robert Fixit. Feels foot issues. Rolled my ankle on Monday. Still hard to walk. I have a cane. I feel like an old man. Yeah. Once you're like in your 30s plus, and I feel like it just gets worse, but I'm feeling all that. What do you think of the AMD 8000 series coming out next year? You talking about graphics cards? I don't have many thoughts about it. I just think whatever they do, they're gonna release things at similar price to performance levels as you can buy already, right? So let's say they release the next 8600 or 8600 XT or whatever. I don't even know. Have they locked in on 8000 series for the naming scheme? I haven't seen the leaks or anything like that. But what they're going to do is, if that's at the performance of like a 7700 XT or something, which by then would have dropped down in price, probably closer to like 400 or less. I feel like it's going to be like a $370 card or something with a little bit less performance. So at the end of the day, in the last 2 generation of releases, last gen cards have still been great value. So I'm not excited for a new generation of cards to come out where buying the previous gen still could be better value for you. If that makes sense, right? So unless they do something where they get some good gains as well as not increasing the prices or coming in with some lower price options, I'm not too excited about it. It's just like 8000 series graphics cards are going to come out, and same with NVIDIA 5000 series cards, and the 4000 series and the 7000 series from AMD are still going to be worth buying brand new from websites like Amazon and Newegg. So yeah, unless they can like change it up, that's what I'm expecting. So yeah, not too excited. It's like right now, people are still buying 3060s, 3060 Ti's, 3070s, 6600, 6600 XTs, 6700 XTs. We've had how long the current generation of graphics cards have been out, and people are still going to the last gen ones. So a new generation of cards does not excite me too much. I'll check them out, but yeah. Jason says, we need to talk about your Throne and Liberty playtime, Danny. Man, yeah, Jason's right. Alright, let's see if I can find my Steam profile. Okay, so we have my Steam profile. How do I view the games that I've played? How do I like view this? Comments. How do I bring up view profile? Nope, that's not it. It doesn't show this? Interesting. I thought it would. But yes, I have a lot of hours on Throne and Liberty. Where is it? Here, let me go to... If I can bring this up. Why are you being slow? It's not logged in. Okay, let me log in. I'm not trying to dox or have my account hacked based on the password count. See if I can see it. Steam. Oh. Why is that showing that? That was not supposed to show that. Stop. Okay. Does this work? Can I view my profile? It still doesn't show it. I'm logged in. I'm logged in right here. Nope. Activity. Here we go. Nope. That's not it. Yeah, what the heck? Oh my goodness. Incognito mode is just screwing me over right now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alright, so... Throne in Liberty. 323 hours on record. But, like I told Jason, these are not all active hours. Throne in Liberty has a system where you could send your little amitoid thingies out on missions. And... well, people can find me on what's it called? On Steam easily. People add me all the time. I don't add them back. You can just look up Nobe and you'll see. Like in the LAN party stories, you see my like Steam name and stuff in the games all the time. So it's whatever. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Throne and Liberty. I would say at least a third of these are probably AFK hours, where I just remote in on my phone to send my little guys out to their quests, and then that's it. I'm not like sitting actively playing, but I have been putting a lot of time into Throne and Liberty. So yeah, yeah, it's an MMORPG. This is what you do when they come out and they're brand new. But I'm enjoying it a lot. What are we seeing? Give me one sec. I'm ready to get many hours in Dragon Age. There's a new one coming out, right? I saw that. I pre-ordered Dragon Age on Monday. It looked like a DLC or something. Dragon Age. Yeah, when I saw this, I thought this was like a DLC. I didn't realize this was like a brand new game. I don't know why, but like, it looked like kind of Halloween-y themed, right? With the orange and I don't know, and the purple, and it was super vibrant. For some reason, I didn't think this was like a new full game release. I thought it was like DLC or like a spin-off game, but apparently this is a thing and some of you guys are excited for it, so awesome, awesome. When will be the next LAN party? LAN party happened in September, about a little bit over a month ago, and the video will be out in December, closer to Christmas time frame. So be on the lookout for that. Danny, when should I upgrade my GPU? Says Ivan Lee. I'm not even sure what GPU you have, so I can't tell you when you should upgrade it. You have a 1650 4GB. Right now would be a pretty good time to upgrade it. Yeah, like how much money do you have to spend? If you have under $200, grabbing the 6650 XT or something used would be your best bet, is what I would think. So, okay, let's see what we got here. Can I build a new gaming PC within $400 for 1080p and streaming, bro? Brand new, $400? Let me think. We could actually try to quickly do that. Brand new, I'm thinking APU. That'll be pretty tough, even with the good prices we have in the United States. So let's start our build. Like, let's look at what, no, 12100F? Because you want brand new. So that's what makes it hard. Like, what is the cheapest brand new? How much are 5500s? Like $60, right? So we go here and we change the price to $60 from AliExpress. And then you use like the stock CPU cooler. No, you have to get a CPU cooler. So you choose the cheapest one. I'm just going to quickly fly through this because I'm actually curious. For brand new with a dedicated graphics card, we have to see how much. Yeah, we're going to add the cheapest parts in. AliExpress motherboards aren't too different. I mean, you can get them for like $50 for AM4. So let's just do that. Choose memory. You're going to want at least a minimum of 16 GB. So let me find 2x8. 2x8. It's not the fastest, but it's one of the cheapest. It's the graphics card that's gonna be difficult for us here. Yeah, let's just choose the $30 case, whatever, power supply. We're not gonna choose the cheapest one, but we're gonna choose something more budgety, like the Thermaltake. Yeah, we'll go with Thermaltake Smart, 40 bucks. Gives you some room to try to find a different one. We're at 217 operating system. For storage, let's say at bare minimum, 256 gigs is the requirement. And it'll be a SSD, so 256 Patriot Burst, sure. What are we at now? We're at 233, which leaves 170 for the graphics card. Am I missing anything? And again, this is in the States. You said you were in India, so I don't... If you get a lot of your stuff from AliExpress, you could match close to this price. But if we add in a video card, based on the States, brand new, none of this garbage, you know, a GT 1030 is 102 bucks. So you have up to 170 to spend. 6500 XT. Yeah, see, the graphics card, if you could buy used, is the biggest money saver. Because for 170, where's all the 6600s? How much are those right now? No compatibility filter. Yeah, the cheapest 6600 right now, man, these have gone up in price, is 200 bucks. And you want new. That's the issue. You would have to go like what new card aside from RX 580s are gonna be in this price range that are worth it? I guess let's see, an Intel Arc card. Where's the best Arc card that you can get? You can get the Arc 580. I mean, if you don't, but still, for close, if you had a little bit more money. So what are we coming at here? 413. We come a little bit over. You could choose, someone mentioned 4500 in for the processor. But yeah, it's the graphics card that's going to be eating up close to half your budget, and you getting that only brand new. There's not many things under 200 bucks. There's this RX 580s, and I guess if you want to go to 3050s or 6500 XTs, which not many people would recommend. I mean, this is like a pretty... There's not many options other than this. 6600 is around 150 in offline market in India. Yeah, so if you can buy used that and put a 6600 in a build like this, it would be awesome. But if they ask for all new, yeah, it's kind of really hard to do an all new build. So okay, did Chris posted it. All right, going back to the Halloween talk, so we can wrap up the Halloween thing. So Chris is been into the 3D printing as of late, and he printed this kind of higher quality scorpion mask. It looks like very fancy. And this was Chris. How many years ago was this, Chris? What is this? Circa like 10 plus years ago. With a very, very, what's it called? Low detail Sub-Zero mask. 2011. Yeah, did I say Scorpion? I meant Sub-Zero if I said Scorpion. But nice. Very nice. What is the rest of your outfit gonna look like though? And are you gonna paint this as vibrant blue as this? Or are you gonna keep it like this? Do you still have this costume? This looks like the original MK1 game. Like that. What, let me see. Scorpion MK1. Not Scorpion. Why do I keep saying Scorpion? It's Sub-Zero. I liked Scorpion more. MK1. Okay. Original game. Yeah, there we go. Just a slight. I didn't realize Sub-Zero was that kind of like teal almost. I thought it was definitely a deeper dark blue in the game. But yeah, all these screenshots are showing it to be pretty bright blue. I did not remember that. But thanks for submitting that, Chris. I appreciate it. What's up, ChannelCon? Hey, I need a GPU upgrade for my ancient GTZ. I don't even know what that means. Oh, GTX 1080 Ti. I mean, it is kind of ancient, but if you look at the let's see, GPU hierarchy. If we look at the performance of it, it is actually not bad compared to, so 1080 Ti is like right here in performance wise, right? Let me get my arrow on the screen. So 1080 Ti is right here. We can actually look at 1440p, because if you're looking at like higher, you know, up to 8 gigabytes of VRAM. 1080 Ti, I mean, so you're gonna have to be looking at something around the 6600, 6650 XT or 3060 to replace it. And I would consider these still very good cards. So and these are gonna run you, depending on if you buy used or not, like 180 to 200 bucks on average, less if you get a good deal. So do you have more money to spend than 200 bucks? And if so, how much more? Because even if you had 250 or 300, I don't know if picking up like a 6700 XT, it is noticeably higher on the charts, but would you rather wait to like make a bigger jump up? Edwin Vega says, I have a 5500. What's better GPU that's 8 gig under 200 bucks to upgrade to? RX 6600. RX 6600 XT or 6650 XT. Like, those are the cards. You could get a 3060 for under 200. They're a little bit more expensive than the AMD equivalents. But if you can get a deal, I don't know like how good your deal hunting skills are, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Damien? How's it going? I'm going well. No, it's going well. Thanks for asking. Noobside Bot, exactly, which is Tobias Boone, who was, what, one of the, was it character creators or just creators of the game? Yeah. Toasty! Logan boosted the server. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate it. Let me go see. Is it, where is that usually announced? Is it in the welcome? Oh, new members usually. There we go. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate it. Honestly, for the server that we have, I don't know how much boosting is very beneficial. Just because we're a smaller community that's not like a super active big one, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Is there anything similar to the RX 6600 that's close to it but cheaper? Yeah, RX 5700 or 5700 XT. So one generation back, but one tier up. So the 5700/5700 XT, at least in the United States, can be found for around like 100 to 140 bucks, depending on. You're gonna buy it used because obviously it's an older, 2-generation old card, but yeah. Robert Fixit says, man, I'm still trying to find a 1080 Ti lol. I'm trying to find one too. For under 100 bucks. It's going to be difficult, but I think eventually it'll reach that price. Yeah, I just want one on hand. It's a legendary card that I know will be used in budget builds and cheap builds for years to come. Like, yeah, it's very, very good performance for how it's priced. I think as more parents would encourage their kids to build a PC, they wouldn't have to sell for old GPUs since it's cheaper to build. Wait, I think as more parents would encourage, okay, encourage their kids to build their PC, they wouldn't have to settle for old GPUs since it's cheaper to build. I don't understand what you mean by this. Why would parents encouraging their kids to build their own PC? When you say old GPUs, I guess, what is your definition of old GPUs? You mean like old, obsolete ones? Because I consider something like a GTX 1070 old. It is old by, you know, year standards and PC standards. It's like, what, 7, 8 years old now? But it's still very useful, and it's not like I don't think parents should dissuade their kids from using cards like that, especially since kids don't need powerful computers. I'm pretty confident in saying nobody in high school actually needs like a current $1,000+ PC. Anybody who's in high school should be fine with like a $300, $400, $500 PC made up of used and past generation parts. Like, I don't know. Like I think I'm pretty firm on that stance. Like, unless they're somehow having some internship working for some company, like animating for Disney, I don't know. Like, that's some very off the cuff outlier experience. But for the most part, anybody who is still in high school, and you could even probably argue going into college, does not need a new $1,000+ PC. Yes, you're right. People don't need it, and if you want it, it's okay. Just work towards it and get it. But from the standpoint of, you know, kids expecting their parents to buy things for them or helping them out on that, I don't think that should be expected. What RAM would you recommend I have for 7800X3D and 4080 Super for 4K gaming? Honestly, with all the problems that I randomly hear about people having with RAM, like for me, so I stuck to like a pretty standard 6000 CL30 kit of memory for my test bench, and I have a 7800X3D. And it was on the QVL, and I've had no problems hitting that, you know, memory profile. But I think it's safe to just stick to whatever's on the qualified vendors list. And I don't know, I honestly don't value super fast speed RAM. So 6000 CL30 is what I targeted. It's very reasonably priced, and I'm pretty sure if you turn off the numbers and counters, I would not be able to tell a difference if you threw in a faster set of memory than that in my system, and I was just using it as is on the daily. So for RAM stability, it's weird because there's so many people that I know that use stuff that's not even on the QVL and don't have problems, and there are some people who do use it on there and do have problems. So I have not personally, in the multiple like Ryzen 7000 series PC builds that I've done, run into like memory stability issues and not being able to run the rated XMP or AMP. But off the top of my head, I couldn't just recommend a kit. Like, the brands that I usually stick to are like, for the most part, Team Group is probably the brand of memory that I bought the most. And if you're doing it, if you're using a 4080 Super and you're doing 4K gaming, I think it even makes less of a difference. Because that 4080 Super is going to be a bottleneck on the AAA 4K games that you do play. Those Team Group kits have consistently been the most competitively priced for sure. Yeah, Team Group, Vulcan Z, Delta RGB, all their different kits are so competitively priced. I remember when Team Group was not as well known as a company, and even I took part in making fun of their name a bit because the name is Team Group. A team is a group. Like, it's one of those things that, like, due to like foreign language or translation, it probably doesn't make as much sense in English. But yeah, it turns out that they became one of the, you know, most well-known, recognizable budget names for affordable PC hardware with regards to memory and storage, that is. Do I think a Ryzen 5600 and the 6700 XT combo could survive 3 more years? What, till 2027? Yeah, I think so. So you're talking about mid-range parts that came out, geez, how many years ago has it been now? Well, so Ryzen 5600 release date. So that came out in 2022, and you're asking if it can last until 2027? That's 5 years for a mid-range part. I think that's pretty standard. And then the 6700 XT came out in 2021. So you're asking if a graphics card that was in the... Would you consider the 6700 XT when it came out a mid-range card or an upper mid-range card? But yeah, graphics card lasting 6 years, and it wasn't an entry-level kind of piece of crap, you know? Like, if it was a 30, or if it was like a 60, 500 XT or something, I might question it. But the 6700 XT was on the upper half of, like, the tier for the generation. So asking if it could last 6 years, I think so. I think that's fine. How long do you think AM4 will be relevant for at this point? It refuses to die. That's a good question. Well, I mean, what's your definition of relevance? I still see people building with 8th gen, 10th gen, like Intel parts. In terms of AMD, pretty much, I would say AM3 and AM3 Plus are kind of faded to irrelevance by this point. But for AM4, I mean, I think we still have a good number of years. Like, we could still be building budget systems with them for the next 5+ years, I would imagine. Even at 5 years from now, the like 5800X3D and 5800Xs and things and CPUs like that, I think they will still be relevant in budget builds. And I say that because they have they have good IPC and their like clock speeds, as well as just having the cores and threads if games start to utilize that more in the future. But CPUs usually last much longer than graphics cards in terms of when you need to upgrade it. I have shown on my channel personally with a number of titles and combinations of graphics cards and CPUs that you could pair a decently old CPU. Like I did the video with the FX8350, the AMD, which by this point, how old is that thing now? Like 12 years old or something. I paired it with like, what is it, the RTX 3080 or something super powerful. And it still ran games at, you know, around 60 FPS, and it didn't stutter or have problems. So yeah, if that's the definition of still being relevant, still being usable, I think AM4 is around for a while. Is the 6700 XT for 220 good? I would say so. 6700 XT, I think, in my area, I have found good deals for them at like 225. I think on average, they're sitting at like 250. But I would say 220 for a 6700 XT is good. Would Xeons still be worth it for budget gaming? I mean, you're always going to have newer Xeons that start hitting, that become obsolete for servers and workstations that hit the used market, right? So you're going to have newer generations as time goes on. So, I mean, I built the $200 Xeon gaming PC, and I think that was still very worth it, despite that being, you know, how old it was. So, I think once that hardware gets to the point where it's not usable in the professional environment anymore, and it can make its way into, you know, markets where gamers can pick it up for cheap and use it for gaming, I think it's fine. Don't expect it to match, you know, the current, whatever, 7800X3D, 9800X3D of whatever time period, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. Is the Intel i5 13400F and the RTX 4060 a good match? I mean, I think that match is fine. I think you have more room to use a stronger graphics card if you want, but they're technically both consider... I know everyone considers the RTX 4060 entry level and entry range, but I don't think it's truly. I think it's still mid-range considering what it can play. Like, being able to run AAA titles and stuff like that, I don't reserve that classification for entry level cards. When I think entry level cards, I'm thinking stuff that can play like esports titles, sub $150 or something. So it just depends on how you classify it. But these two pairing, I mean, you're talking about a what? 100. How much are 13400Fs right now? You're talking about like a $300 graphics card versus a 13400F. It's $162. Yeah. So performance-wise and even price relativity-wise, like the graphics card is twice the price of the CPU. I think that's fine. Not twice the price, close to twice the price. What's my favorite budget PC case? Favorite budget PC case. Let me think about that one. Might be the Montech Air 100. Though there are cheaper cases than it, and it has gone up in price, up and down. But, I mean, it comes with actual addressable RGB fans. Comes with 4 of them. Has a hinged magnetic door panel. Tempered glass. You know, a power supply basement, easy to cable manage, tuck stuff in. It's compact, it's cheap. It's not the cheapest case out there, but given that it does come fully equipped with fans, so you don't have to worry about that. The fans actually have real addressable RGB headers, and it's not like Molex or the crappy fixed LEDs. Like, I don't know, I like this case. Is there anything that competes with it that has the same similar features for much less money? I'm trying to think. In how many years do you think I would have to upgrade my 7800X3D and 7800XT? That should last you at least 3 more years. And in 3 more years, you're going to keep that 7800X3D and change the graphics card most likely, and it'll still go even longer. I think you're fine there. The best budget case is the one you can get for free. True. Is there any free PC cases in my area right now? Free PC case. It's kind of hit and miss. But, dang, there's none. Computer case? Is that the term? But, I mean, it depends how much money you're working with, right? I kind of understand this sentiment, but if you have like $1,000 for a PC build, I don't know if it makes sense to use an old, dated, free one that you got from Craigslist just because it was free. Like, a lot of the old cases, they lack USB-C. Some of them lack USB 3.0. They have these hard drive and 5 1/4, you know, optical drive cages in there. They don't have separated power supply basements, so just the airflow is just all in the main chamber. So you could be theoretically sending warm air into your power supply from the CPU and the GPU. Like, older cases, there's a reason why case designs have evolved over time. Like, there are hardware and brackets and stuff we don't use anymore, as well as easeability for, you know, just building in general and aesthetics. So I would say, yeah, for like a cheap sub $300 build or something, use a free case if you can. That would be the best case. But if you're working with like a decent budget and you're buying brand new parts, it doesn't hurt to spring like $100 on a case. Dell XPS case is for a sleeper build. Is good for a sleeper build. They're fully standard. Which XPS? There's so many Dell XPS desktops. Do you have a particular model in mind? Let me see. Desktop case. Because like some of them, I mean, some of them are a little bit more updated, but others, you have a severe limited amount of room to like work in, as well as airflow. You really only have one intake, one exhaust on this one. But are you? And then there's these gigantic ones. I have one of these. Where is this thing? Did I throw this out? I have one of these cases I bought years ago for a video that never became a thing. But XPS 700. This was so gigantic, and I hated it that it leaned forward. Can I see a side? You see how it's like leaning forward? It is like the front face is like a diagonally shifting forward. I hated it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I throw this thing or donate it? Where did it go? Because if I could pull it on the stream right now, I will do it. Let me look in my bathroom storage real quick. If it's in here, I'll pull it out. If it's in the garage, then I'm not gonna bother. Dang it, it's not in there. But yeah, speaking of Dell XPS cases. Should I upgrade my 1660 Super to a 3060 or a 4060? I heard a lot of hate on the 4060. Performance per dollar, the 3060, especially if you buy it used. Like, are you thinking of buying used or new? The 3060, if you can buy it used for $200 versus a $300 4060, the 3060 is a way better deal. If you're buying a new 3060, I think those are kind of priced weird right now. Like on Amazon, how much are those? Yeah, they're close to the same price. I would not pay close to $300 for a brand new 3060. I would look in the used market. But the 4060 gets a lot of hate, but it is not as bad of a graphics card as everybody makes it out to be. Just because I think Intel is kind of facing the same thing, because there's kind of like regression with regards to performance per dollar. People are super up in arms about it. But if you think about spending $300 on a card, regardless of whatever options are out there, if you spend $300 card and you get the performance out of a 4060 that it gives, it's not the best you could get, but it's not like it's the same performance as a 3050 or, you know, like a really bad old card. Like, people are making it sound like your games will be literally unplayable, or that you're paying double what it's worth. Like, it's not like the 4060 is only worth $150, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is at closer to 300, and the more realistic price that people wanted it to be at was probably closer to 250. So you're paying like $50 extra, but you get the newest card. And, you know, sometimes in life you don't get the best deals. We try to deal hunt and get the best deals ever, but how many other aspects in your life have you overspent or bought something only to find out that later on something was cheaper, or you were in a bind and you just needed something, like you had car problems and you just had to pay what it was to, you know, get the part and fix it. It was probably not the best deal ever, but it gets the job done, and you move on and try to save money elsewhere. That's my thoughts on the 4060 anyways. Like, it's not the best card you can buy for the money, but it is far from the worst. I heard a seller for OLX secondhand selling market in India. He said he will sell a whole setup with the Ryzen 3200G RX 580 for $250. Does that seem like a scam? Honestly, for the 3200G RX 580 at $250, give in a different, like, foreign market outside the US, that seems a little too cheap. Even in the States, you could easily move a system with the 3200G RX 580, and knowing that India has not as good prices, I'm questioning how are they selling it for that cheap. So it seems a little questionable to me, but again, I don't live in India, so I don't know how rampant scams and stuff are. But if you can see the system and you can test it out and you can check the hardware, you know, and it is what it says it is, and it's $250, that's actually not a bad price for a foreign market. Alright, let me get caught up in chat. You smell a scam? I mean, like, the thing is, it's tough because, yes, 250 is very inexpensive. But you're talking about, like, that's the Ryzen 3200G. What year did that even come out? That wasn't a very expensive APU to begin with. So that was 2019, so we're talking about 5 years ago, going on 6. And RX 580, which is like, you know, dating back to 2017. So, yeah. It's hard to say on that one. And RX 580s are very cheap used, exactly. Why does everyone hate on the RTX 3050 so much? I don't think it's specifically hate on the 3050, more so its price. I mean, if you think about it, anything that AMD, Intel, or Nvidia that they release, barring the stuff that kills themselves, you know, and need microcode updates, but anything that just is problem-free from like stability, crashing, and dying prematurely, I don't think any of the products are particularly bad. It's just bad prices. We hear people say that all the time. There are no bad products. There's only bad pricing. Except there are bad products. Like products that kill themselves if you don't apply an update. Because that wasn't put in place beforehand. So, yeah. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for the most part, there's not many bad products, I would say. Should have called it a 3040 Ti. Yeah. No Panic says, PC Part Picker says my PSU don't have extra 4-pin power connector wire, but may work fine. What is with that? Do I need a new PSU? Freaked out. Got all my parts. What kind of power supply did you pick? Most decent power supplies have, that you got a power supply that you must have gotten one that has like just a single 8-pin EPS connector and not the 8-pin plus another one for the motherboards that have, you know, the 8x4 configuration. Or you got a really low-end power supply that only had 4-pin and you need 8 pins. Like, what's going on here with that? I need more details. Like, what motherboard and what power supply did you get before we can answer this? But regarding that, so a lot of motherboards out there don't require all the EPS, you know, CPU connectors to be plugged in. The extra plugging in is only for if you're trying to do like extreme overclocking or using like a particularly high power chip. I've used plenty of motherboards where they do have like the 8-pin connector and then an extra 4-pin or another 8-pin, and only plugging in one of them works. They don't make it super clear all the time, so you kind of have to dig on Reddit and stuff to see if it would work or not, but yeah, it depends. The PSU is an 850 watt fully modular, yeah, but what model? 850 watt modular doesn't mean anything if it's coming from, you know, generic brand, who knows what. But I mean, I would think if you have an 850 watt fully modular from any of the reputable companies out there, there should be 2 8-pins for the CPU. I got 8 pins, no 4. Motherboard is B650 Gaming AX. Oh, you got an Ari's game? Okay. So Ari's game power supplies have a very bad reputation. I don't think I've ever seen any tested where they like catch on fire and burn or explode. But they definitely don't make the highest quality PSUs just based on like the internal components and the platforms that they're built on. So let me look at your motherboard real quick. So there's a couple of things you would do. I think for the most part, most people are going to recommend that you return that Ari's game power supply and get something, like how much is that thing anyways? Let me see. 850 watt modular. So this is a $100 power supply. Brother, you can get a $100, like, almost any other good brand power supply at 850 watts fully modular, I feel. But let me take a look at the motherboard real quick. So you got this board. Okay, yeah. Come on, give me the front view. Yeah, so for a case like this, or a situation like this, I'm thinking you should be fine just plugging the 8-pin in. I don't know if they're gonna specify it on this spec sheet. We would have to like look it up on a forum or Reddit. But either way, I mean, what does chat think? Do you think they should return this and get another? Let me look at any other 850 watt power supply. You could get a Corsair one, which is known very high quality power supply for 20 bucks more, or you can buy I would be more comfortable buying a used Corsair RM850 power supply. They have them here. Is it Amazon warehouse too? Doesn't look like it's through Amazon warehouse. Oh, Amazon resale. This is missing auxiliary battery. What? I don't think this is not correct. I'm pretty confident if you buy this, yeah, this is just generic. There's no auxiliary battery for you to like remove on a power supply. But even something like this, used, I think people would have more confidence than an Aorus game new 850 watt at $100. If this was like 60 or 70 bucks or something, I could understand trying to save money. But there was no money saved here. I can get a new PSU. This one was a gift. Oh, yeah, that's tough. Can you ask for a gift receipt? Just because, like, I mean, I understand, like, if you're on a budget and can't spend as much, but the money was, somebody spent $100 on this power supply when there are so many other options available. Yeah, even getting one from like Thermaltake, let's see, Cooler Master, MWE, like, yeah, there are a lot of higher quality power supplies than that. Magnus Nielsen says Enermax Revolution. Yeah, those are, let's see. Revolution, you said the what, 1050 watt one. You can get the 850 watt one for under 100. Yeah, but all the 1050 ones look to be a little bit higher, 20% more, which could be a difference. If you don't need it, like, you could just stick with the 850 one for, you know, sub $100. Gifted a bomb rip. Just, okay, I will say this, though. If I had to bet money, right, whether or not, if they use this power supply in their system, and if it's going to blow up and catch fire and burn their house down, I would bet money that it's not going to. As much as power supplies get such a bad rap for being, you know, low quality and dangerous, for this unit specifically, I have not seen any testing that's shown that it would be dangerous, especially for the day-to-day use case that most people have that aren't even going to be, like, a lot of the power supply testing, the problems occur when people run these up to like 150% load level, so running it beyond 850 watts. Most people's systems, have y'all ever like taken a watt meter to your system builds? Most systems, I would say, fall into the category of like anywhere from 300 to 500 watts max. That's under load. So if I had to bet money on it, using a power supply like this probably is not going to burn your house down. But given the fact that it was $100, there's no reason to use it over something else that is known higher quality. I'm definitely getting a different one. Yeah, get a different one. If you can somehow get the Amazon gift receipt or some way to get the money back for this, though, that'd be pretty big. But if not, it's up to you. Again, I don't think this is gonna like burn your house down, but it hurts to see this being this expensive when the alternatives are the same price. You just says, I've used Aries game power supplies before. They're cheap and I've never had a problem with them, but I used the cheaper $40 to $50 ones. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like statistically, I would say the failure rate and the rate of burning your house down is like less than 1%. There are some standards that have to go into creating these things. In the newest video that I have, which I'm actually testing, y'all want to see I'll show you a sneak peek. Actually, I'm talking about this because I'm finishing editing up this video, but I do have a system that I have running just for my own purposes. But so I do have a system running right here. This is running a stress test on the power, or specifically to load the power supply, but I do have it hooked up to this kilowatt meter. This is a PC that I got from Temu. This has a 300 watt power supply in it with an AMD APU. I got that, and then I got RX 580 to throw into it. Whoever built this system to sell on Temu did not expect me to put in a graphics card and to run a 300 watt power supply up to 280 watts from the wall. So the power supply is laughably bad. You guys are going to see it in the video coming out this weekend. Quite literally, it does not have a brand name. It does not have a model name. It literally says like ATX 300 watt on it. And I mean, it's going on 24 hours soon, so it's going to be done in like 6 hours. You know, the power supply in here, it wouldn't surprise me if it costs like, what, $5 or $10 for the 300 watt unit. I mean, look at those tiny, thin 24 pin connector, like the cables. Look at the, it only had one single PCIe connector, and it was only a 6 pin. There was no 8 pin. There was no breakaway from 8 to 6 pin. This is the low quality bottom tier stuff I'm talking about, and we've been running at max load, near max load from the wall anyways. You got to convert, you know, 80% efficiency that the system's pulling, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've been running it. I did have my fire extinguisher nearby with the fire blanket in case something went wrong. But yeah, so low quality power supplies, I think people are way overly dramatic about them. Like, I understand if you can afford a better one, definitely get a better power supply. But people are acting like houses burning down every single day due to them. You know how many thousands, if not tens, if hundreds of thousands of PCs exist out there with crappy power supplies? There would be like, everybody's house would be on fire if that was actually the case. Will lower PSU wattage bottleneck the overall performance? That's actually something I have not experimented with. Like, using a power supply that is not rated high enough for the hardware. Like, just straight up not like it's running at 100% load. Like, straight up using a 450. The issue is that you're not going to have the right connectors. And a lot of hardware combinations surprisingly don't draw that much power. So trying to do that experiment would be hard, because like you can't just pair you know, like RTX 4090 and a, you know, whatever i9 processor with a 450 watt power supply, because they're simply not going to come with enough connectors for it. And once you get high enough where they will have the connectors, like in the 600-700 watt range, regardless of what the manufacturers recommend for a power for a graphics card, like for what's the RTX 4090 power draw? So power draw for a 4090 is 450 watts. Yeah, I bet you, it's not recommended, but I bet you could run, if a 600 watt power supply had the right connectors for it, you could run an RTX 4090 off of it if you could get all, you know, all 3 of the 8-pin PCIe connectors and stuff like that. So I don't know what usually happens because I've never paired like a way underpowered power supply with hardware way above, you know, what it's capable of. I don't know if it'll run and only start to become unstable once it needs to draw that much power, or if it just simply does not work at all. But now that you bring it up, I'm very curious to try. I need to look around. What's hard is that, like, even if you have a 450 watt power supply, it's, again, hard to max it out without proper power supply testers and stuff. If you've ever read, like, a detailed power supply review, they run power supplies beyond the rated watts. Like, a 450 watt unit, they'll run it up to like 150% load, which means that they're running 600 watts on it, but that's using like a power supply specific tester. It's not using PC hardware and seeing like what happens in the PC when you try to use it to game or do whatever. So yeah. Angelo says, are we going to see a trading a PC video again? Actually, I'm trying to think of what I need because, yeah, the trading video thing, I actually ended up not using that racing wheel too much when I did that. But I think if I could trade for a VR headset, I would use that a bit more. So I would be down to trade like a $300-ish budget PC that I build for like a VR headset. And that seems like something that people in the local market would be interested in. So I would be totally down to do something like that. But I do have a local meetup video coming up soon. I don't want to give too many details about it. But that should be the next video after this Temu PC video. Vince Fortis says, you generally want about 200 watts more than what you need when it comes to PSU. More is better. I mean, that's a very arbitrary number to throw out, 200 watts more. What if your system only pulls like 100? Actually, no. Let me give a better example. Yeah, 200 watts is totally arbitrary because what if your system pulls 100 versus what if it pulls like 400 watts? So you're using that 200 standard the same in both chances, where in the 100 watt case, getting a 300 watt unit is 3 times the capacity, running at 33%, which if you look at any efficiency curve, let's look at the efficiency curve. PSU efficiency curve. So general power supply efficiency curves looks a little something like this. So let's see. So here's the watts. Okay, we need one for a specific power supply. Oh, so this is for a 900 watt unit, right? So 900 watts right here. Your efficiency is like, and we're looking at, let's just say in the US, like 120 volt. Yeah, the efficiency at around, if you're running it too low, so at 33%, like 300 watts, or at the 900 watts, you're at 85% efficiency, but you're closer to 88-ish if you're operating around like 2/3 level. So I would say aim for 50 to 75% load. But a lot of people don't actually know what the power draw on their system is. Like, not many people have put a meter onto their build and like just straight up run it. Like, you know, oh, you can't really see it, but like this system running at 280 watts, it tells me more than any, you know, hardware info or PC part picker calculator and stuff like that, because not all of them, like they can't calculate everything, like the power required for all the, you know, the LEDs for the fans, for running the fans, any drives, SSDs, RAM, stuff like that. There's much more to the power calculation than just graphics card and CPU. Tarnish the Witch. I'm seeing less in which channels were glazing Intel to begin with. Who was glazing Intel? You better not say hardware unboxed. The only person that I know who glazes Intel is, what is it, Userbench? Userbench, right? They're the only ones. Okay, let me see. Do they have reviews on here? Compare, test, about. I don't know if they even do like reviews. Let me see. Okay, so how do so to be completely honest with you guys, I've never like actually looked at Userbench extensively. Sometimes it comes up when I'm trying to compare like old processors that, you know, you just can't find information for. Because the way this website is set up, I bet they don't even do actual side-by-side comparison. They probably do some scaling in between for, you know, because not everyone puts head-to-head all the processor combinations out there. So they use relative information to like fill in the data, I bet. Yeah, because there's no way. There's way too many things out there. But user rating, 12600K, 13600K. Okay, I could believe that a little bit. 13700K. But the top of their charts are Intel. What is glazing channels? Glazing is kind of like, how do you explain it? Like overly hyping up, kind of like being a show for them. I don't keep super up to date with all the terms kids are using these days, but I understand the context of glazing, which is basically licking their boot kind of stuff. How can you explain it more without being inappropriate? Fanboy simping it. Glaze means to simp. Yeah. Overhyping. Okay, yeah, so exactly what I said. But I'm trying to think of, let me see, glazing. Does glazing have to do with what I think it has to do with? Glazing, in terms of like, think of glaze on a donut and what that looks like and how you achieve that. Overwhelming euphoric feeling about a company. Yeah, okay. Moving on. Donut Farmer! The one person that needs to join me into the chat when we're talking about glazing with regards to donuts. I glaze Nobes at Walmart Lotion. Oh my goodness, that name. Intel suck up propagandists. Oh yeah, sure. I get it. You mean the Logitech Intel show? Okay. I don't want to like throw shade or talk down about other creators. Roby's a really nice guy. I think a content creator having a show with a company, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, it's clear that it's sponsored and that they are collabing and working together. That's different from an independent reviewer who is supposed to remain unbiased, overhyping or oversimping a company, right? So Logitech having a partnership with Intel and doing a show with them where it is clear that it is working with Intel and sponsored by them, I don't have an issue with that. I don't think there's any problems. It's different when you're doing like an unbiased review comparing parts from multiple companies and then showing, you know, more bias and unfair judgment for one company over the other. So I think those are two kind of like different things, if that makes sense. Term you could use is fluffer. That works too. Not gonna lie, this channel is hella underrated glaze example. Same as how LTT was sponsored by Intel a bunch of times, like Ultimate Tech Upgrade. Yeah, like when it is clearly sponsored and they're working with the company, I think that's fine. It's just you need to separate that for when you do, you know, independent product reviews and testing, and you need to just present the results as they are and not give one company, you know, more benefit than the other. So, yeah, he's not trying to fool anyone. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think he's a shill at all. What do I think the best CPU for gaming is? RTX 2070 Super RG6 Advanced. I think most people right now would agree that for AM4 specifically, the best deal you could get for a gaming CPU is the Ryzen 5700X3D on AliExpress for how much are they going for now? I feel like the price keeps on shifting due to the popularity, but you can get this for 140 bucks. So, weren't these like 130 the other week? Am I tripping? Or am I confusing the price of something else? 5700X3D. I could have sworn we pulled them up at 125 or 130 within the last month. Can someone fact check me on that? I know the non-XDD is cheaper, but I could have sworn specifically this one was a little bit cheaper than 144. It's gonna be... Oh, okay, so maybe it's because I pulled it up when they had a sale or a first time discount code. I guess what kind of sales? 70% off. Okay. Oh, okay. So if you use one of these coupon codes, because the processor is over 120 bucks, you can get 15 off. So it brings it down to 130. And these coupon codes are not first time. This is just with the seasonal coupons coming up. So yeah, 130 bucks for this. Kind of hard to beat in my opinion. Isn't AliExpress a bit sketchy? Not in the slightest. No, AliExpress is legit. Some people, with how bad of experiences they have had on Newegg and Amazon, would actually prefer AliExpress. You know, with Amazon, people like returning and like putting a rock in the box and then they don't even check it and then they send out that box of rocks to the next person. I mean, I rank them all the same. I don't like particularly have bad experiences with Newegg or Amazon, and with AliExpress I've had very good experiences and the price is just so good. And you know, what is the estimated shipping date for this? November 7th to 16th. So it's about a week to 10 days ish, depending if you count business days, but if you're not in a rush, this is like the deal to get with that coupon code. AliExpress is just a long wait to get the item. These days, especially with PC related items, unless it's a case, I haven't had something arrive more later than 2 weeks. Usually it's 7 to 10 days. Like almost every item that I've ordered, except for PC cases, those take about a month. But for a CPU like this, I would say 7 days. The last few CPUs that I ordered from AliExpress came in 7 days, almost to the dot. So yeah, it depends on where you're at too. I feel like again, US people are spoiled. Things definitely get to us faster, even if it is coming from, you know, AliExpress. And I'm on the West Coast, so your experience may differ because, you know, with the Pacific Ocean separating me and Asia, it's closer than people on the East Coast, for example. So yeah, it might add a few days depending on where you are located in the US or in the parts of the world. So what are 7800 XDDs going for on AliExpress? Let's see, actually. I haven't... The pricing on them... Ooh. $400. Yeah. And you get no warranty. That's a little bit tougher to swallow. I got mine from Amazon a while back. For... When was this? I got mine February of this year for $369. Nice. $369. So yeah, the prices, the demand and price on them have gone up with Intel's Blender. So it's about 7 days for AliExpress to here in Canada. Where in Canada? Are you like West Coast, Vancouver-ish area? Or are you like Central or Eastern? So would the cost difference on Amazon New offset the delivery times? I mean, what's the 7800 XTD going for on Amazon? So we're talking 130 with the coupon code on AliExpress, right? On Amazon, 200 bucks. Like, what is $70 worth to you, right? For me, I'm going with AliExpress to save $70, and I'm waiting that 7 to 10 days, whatever. I'm waiting 2 weeks if I have to, for a $70 saving. But it depends, like, how much of a rush are you in, and how comfortable you are with AliExpress. You are this is a good point. You are basically paying for quicker delivery. I bring it up in this upcoming video too. Like, Amazon. Like, have you looked at a bunch of the different products on Amazon? Not like brand name stuff, but like generic stuff. Like, Wi-Fi USB dongle, right? Like this thing right here. So this is TP-Link, so it's brand name. Not a good example. Where's like this? If you need some kind of generic Wi-Fi USB adapter, I can guarantee you can find this for cheaper on AliExpress. You're buying it from Amazon for 20 bucks when it's probably like 12 to 15 on AliExpress, because you can get it in 2-day shipping, prime shipping. But this is the exact same product that they sell on AliExpress for cheaper with longer shipping times. Like, quite literally the exact same thing. Oh, Chris submitted another. Last year I did the pants over the shoulder. Okay, that's pretty ingenious. Even though it's too dark, Chris, you needed lighter fade jeans. For cheap. There's a budget cosplay channel. Low budget cosplay. And this kind of reminds me of that. This guy. This is like the funniest. And nowadays he does more Photoshop work. Or low cost cosplay is what it's called. But he does similar stuff like that. If I could get an image to show up. Like this one I'm pretty sure is photoshopped. But it reminds me of that. This croissant one is pretty funny. But yeah. Thanks for submitting that, Chris. Dan, you think my system will be alright for a bit? 5900X, 390 Ti, 64 gigs of RAM. I spent enough on this ish. Yes, you will be fine. You have the highest of the high end from just a couple of generations ago worth of parts. You're fine. You spent a lot. This is one of the reasons though why I don't like spending and buying like the most high end hardware that is available. Because you feel bad about it when the next generation of parts come out. Like, I like to operate in the mid to upper mid range. Then you don't get buyer's remorse and feel like FOMO once your thing becomes, you know, not the most powerful stuff anymore. So, yeah, bro said 3090 Ti, wondering if he'll be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be fine with the 3090 Ti. The Ryzen 7 7700 is going for about 185 on AliExpress. What's the Amazon price on that? So we're looking at 185 versus 280. Is this the best one? Well, it doesn't make sense to get a 7700 when the 7700X is 10 bucks cheaper, but is that as low as they go? Okay, yeah. So I'm still 270 versus 185. Pretty clear which one is the better value. Hey Danny, how much life do you think the 6600 non-XT can pull these days? What do you mean, like how much longer it'll be relevant? When you say how much life can it pull, like how many more years you can get out of it? That's how I'm interpreting the question. And I think you can use the 6600 XT non-XT for I think the next like 2 years without really worrying. I mean, you're gonna be playing at like 1080p or 1440p at lower settings and esports titles, but I think, yeah, I think we can get into 2026 and people can still use them without much worry. The card's not that old. It's like, what was the release date? It's like, what, 3 years old now? 2021, right? Yeah, 2021 is 3 years old. It was a mid-range card when it released. Mid-ish range card. From 2021 into 2026, that's 5 years. That's... I honestly don't know what the average lifespan of people's components are nowadays, because I know some people, like, use their things into the ground, like, use it for 10 years. But then, from some of the comments or, you know, live chat that I get, it seems like people want to upgrade every year or two. I would say 5 years on a graphics card. It is a little bit on the longer end. For me personally, I go usually about 3 to 4 years. But 5 years isn't, like, crazy by any means to stretch your graphics card. Especially, again, it's not like it's a 6500 XT or a 6400. It was a 6600. Very solid card. What about the 1080 Ti? Still kicking now. But yeah, the 1080 Ti, though, was like the top tier card. The top tier stuff, you should definitely expect it to last like 6 or 7 years. Much longer than buying mid tier stuff, but... Do you think I should get a 7900 XTX right now or a next gen? What do you have, Mighty Walrus? It's hard to answer that question without knowing what you have. Like, do you not have a PC at all? Do you have a PC that has something that's not as powerful as a 7900 XTX? Like, with the graphics card announcements coming around the corner, regardless of what I said earlier about they're probably not going to be giving you much better options for the price to performance, you will still probably expect some price drops for those people who that always buy the new stuff and sell off their old hardware for cheaper. So, if anything, waiting for the 7900 XTX for the price drop, because it's so close, like if they are doing it around the end of the year or at CES, you know, that's what, 3 months max? Like, if you have something that can hold you over, then I would just say keep it, and wait. But if you don't, I think getting a 7900 XTX right now is pretty, like, it's fine. Usually every other generation, yeah, which works out to be about 3 to 4 years, depending on, you know, how quickly they release stuff. So we're looking at 2021, and now it's 2024 since the other generation. Someone asked something about Skytech. Are you still in the chat? Where was that? See if I can find it. Someone said something about Skytech Nebula or something. Are you still in the chat? Because I was looking at Skytech recently. I can't find it now. But let me see if I could scroll up. Yeah, because I was looking at the Skytech website recently just because I was looking at pre-builds. And man, do they make their website... Skytech is good. I watch their live streams on YouTube. Yeah, so someone asked about the Nebula. If you're still in chat, please sound off because I do want to look at that. So Skytech is one of... I think their reputation got really boosted when Gamers Nexus gave them a very favorable review on a video. But, so you were asking about the Nebula. Give me 1 second. Yeah, why does YouTube not allow me to search for comments? That is annoying. But my problem when looking through the Skytech website is this. I don't know what is going on with my internet right now. Let me check it real quick. Or is it? Yeah, all the other websites loaded decently fine. Unless I'm having some kind of outage or something's going on. Oh, nope. Yeah, my internet seems to be fine. We are getting gigabit speeds. Oh, there's a sale on Skytech right now. Okay, yep. Up and down is fine. And I talked about this in my latest review. If I wanted to buy or look at all models of a pre-built gaming PC, so you know how we normally do, we want to look at everything, we go to all models, and then for some reason this pops up. So you're saying I have to go to all models, and then I got to click on a series? I can't just look at all models in a list with all the prices and kind of highlighted components. I have to look at, I have to pick the Azure, for example, if it's even gonna load. And then once you get down to here, I'm trying to look for the sort by lowest price, because that's how we do things around here. And where's the big list of PCs that I can look at so I can see all the pricing? So I clicked on the Azure and it didn't even do anything. All models. I want to actually see all your models with the prices next to them, not individually click on this. The website's broken right now, I feel. Because even though I'm clicking on stuff, it is not going through. Hey man, do you think CompTIA certs... Oh wait, hey man, what do you think about CompTIA certs? I have A+, but I want to get Network Plus and Security Plus. Would you recommend, or should I get Cisco cert? I want to be... That's definitely... That is a question for a network engineering subreddit. Unfortunately, not for me. With regards to the CompTIA certs, I've heard very mixed things about it, and I'm sure people who have those certs or other ones in this chat could even chime in. Maybe more so on the landscape stream, because there's more attendees there, but I've heard very mixed stuff about them. Either, I think in the Linus's more recent video, he was complaining about them being out of what's it called, outdated or useless. But it's not only from that I've heard it from. I've heard that from other corners of the internet as well as some of my friends who are in that field. So I don't honestly know whether or not it's worth it. I have questioned. I don't have any of those certs, and everything I've learned is just from my own research and doing hands-on by myself. And I suck at network-related stuff specifically, but with regards to PC stuff, it's all self-taught and learned. So I don't have any of the certs, and I have thought about should I get the certs? But for what reason? What would having it be useful for, unless I wanted to do it on a more professional level at some company or a business, right? So Arnold G here. See, so I'm gonna pull up some of the comments because this is coming from the other the horizontal stream, and because we do have two streams running right now. So Arnold G says, overpriced, overrated CompTIA. I got A+ in 2001 prior to the research for a few years. Let me see. CCNA will need to be recertified every 3 years. I heard Net Plus, Sec Plus, and A Plus will be 1 year. Let's see. Yeah, but I think, let's see, network, or actually, I bet there's a CompTIA subreddit all about CompTIA certifications. Unless the mods here are super strict and don't want you talking crap about it, you might have a much more detailed, thorough, what's it called, responses from here, or And you said you want to be a network engineer, right? So network engineering subreddit. I mean, Reddit could be a cesspool for a lot of things, but specifically for these types of questions and advice, like the networking subreddit, I guarantee you there are lots of posts. If you search for it, CompTIA specifically, you'll find people and their thoughts and experiences in here. Yeah, definitely check that out. If you get, wait, you're saying if you got A+ prior to July or so 2001, you don't have to recertify? Does that make any sense? That kind of reminds me of like the emissions or smog check for older cars. Like in what world does that make sense? Where having, just because you are so outdated, it's fine. Like older cars with worse emissions, because they were past a certain date, you don't have to check the, like, what? So for like something like a cert, which is something you would think that you should have to refresh every once in a while, the older it is, don't you think that is more of a reason to have to get recertified? I guess they figure old timers were self-taught and were able to learn. I mean, that explanation kind of makes sense. But I don't know, man. I guess I'm trying to think of how many people I know with the cert that are old. I can't just lump them up with all boomers who don't know how to use computers, but still, I don't know, man. Have some kind of quick test that they could take or something. It makes no sense that people who have been tested more recently with the more, like, have they not changed the course materials and stuff like that to be more up to date? You're talking about 2001? That's 23 years ago. The landscape of just everything computing has changed so much in that time. My friend has an A+ cert, which is grandfathered to not recert. To me, that's crazy. But, I mean, imagine if they was like that in the medical field or something, where they didn't have to do ongoing education and training. I guess with medical stuff, it's like, you know, more life and death and dangerous. With computing and networking stuff, you can lose businesses' money and stuff with downtime, but it's not like it's life or death. So maybe that's the difference there, but I don't know. I had an old diesel pickup that didn't need emissions, saved me $45 every year. Yeah. Dan, are you using Windows 10 or 11? What's your opinion on 11? I'm still on 10. So I'm on 10 right now. I am very close to doing a fresh reformat to 11. The only reason I'm not is because I don't want to set everything up again, because when I reformat, or anytime I reinstall an OS, I never do that option that they give you to keep your old files and settings and programs or whatever the heck. Like, I do it fresh. Like, I want a clean slate. So, you know, just with like shortcuts and all your programs that are installed, and like the Windows like document browser, like all my quick access stuff that I have on there, I'm gonna have to reset all that up. So that's the only reason I'm pushing it off. But I use my laptop when I'm not like down here in my studio and I'm like computing from other parts of the house. I use Windows 11 and it's fine. On some of the newer builds that I've done, like, you know, I install a Windows 11 for my friends and things like that, and I poke around in it. It's, you know, I don't have any issues. So it's more so of losing all my stuff restarting over. But I think Windows 11 is fine. Like, I don't know. That's you get very mixed opinions, because there are some people who are trying to wait for as long as possible, but a lot of people in the chat over the, you know, weeks and months have expressed that they've upgraded to 11 with no issues at all. So I think if you're ready to upgrade, or if you just want to get it over with because they keep on annoying you, or you just don't want to do it at the last minute when 10 becomes officially like end of life and don't get further support, then you can do it now. Same with me. It's a setup that takes forever doing the actual format processing. Yeah, formatting is fine. Reinstalling all your programs and like all that, especially since with my video editing stuff, like I like having the history from Adobe for my Photoshop and Premiere Pro and stuff of like my last however many project files, so I don't have to go digging for them in case I do need to reference something from like a month or two ago. So yeah, all that stuff getting wiped away kind of sucks, but I'll inevitably do it. Maybe I'll do that on stream one of these days, like reformatting my main PC while I stream off of a laptop or something. Robert Fixit is one of those examples. 60 days sober from Windows 10. So 2 months on Windows 11 now. And Robert, what would you give the experience out of a 10 out of 10 or out of 10 rating and any major problems that you've seen? I found Windows 10 already quite limited, and I don't want to think of 12 to 13. Limited in what way? I feel like most things that you want to do, you could find a way to do it on Windows. Because it is such a used like platform, there are people who make programs to like do what you want to do. You're gonna have to install extra stuff, but it's easy to do and there's a lot of support for it. Arnold G has been on it for the past 6 months, and my install was from 2019. Dang. I always make an image, so all I have to do is updates. What do you mean by that? You mean if we're still, unless you're talking about something else. So going from 10 to 11, you're saying you make like a backup image of your existing 10, and then when you go to 11, what do you usually choose in terms of the options? Would that be like the upgrade option? It keeps cranking every audio file in my folders. What do you mean by cranking audio files? When I hear that, I think of cranking the volume too loud, but it keeps cranking every audio file in my folders. What does that mean? It creates an ISO with everything you want on it. Okay, so it creates an ISO with everything you want from 10, but then when you go to 11, it basically uses that to transfer all that stuff over to 11. So I guess how is that different from the, when you install it or get the file on your drive itself, not using like a bootable or whatever, and you go through the Windows installation and it says, do you want to keep my old files? I haven't really experimented around with those different options, so I'm curious like what the major benefit of doing that is. It's Wolfie says, I've been on Windows 11 since they started giving access to Windows 10 users, and I haven't really had any problems. Yeah, that's kind of I haven't been on it for that long, but I've been on it for, how long now? Probably coming up on a year now on other systems that are not my main one. And anytime I do have to use it, yeah, I've not run into any problems where I'm like, oh my god, Windows 11 sucks. I'm staying on 10 for as long as possible. I bought the Lenovo Legion 5i with AMD 7700 and 4070 Ti Super, but I am seeing GPU utilization gets to 7 to 75% when gaming. How can you improve that? Try upping the graphics settings and resolution. So, let me try to think of this. Just because a game doesn't fully utilize either your CPU or GPU, it doesn't mean it's really a problem with the hardware. Sometimes it literally is the game. I've played some games where I'm like, what the heck? Why are you not using my graphics card more when the CPU is also not being fully loaded and like maxed out? And that's just sometimes an optimization thing. I mean, you could test it out using just a synthetic benchmark and seeing if you can get to 100% on something like a Unigen or 3D Mark test. But, I mean, I would imagine for, like, are you playing any new games like Black Myth Wukong, the new Final Fantasy 16, Cyberpunk at the max settings at 4K? If you do that and it can get to 100%, then I would think it's a more of an issue on the software or the game than it is the hardware. It all, yeah, KL130 chimes in with, it also depends on what's happening on the game. Yeah, sometimes some scenes are just not as intense. Sometimes they're more CPU, like, dependent than graphics. So, it all depends. I guess what I would do is, first, look up benchmarks or reviews for your specific laptop with that same exact hardware in it. And usually reviewers use programs where you could replicate it, like, you know, Superposition, 3D Mark, or canned benchmarks where they show the settings. Test it and see if you get the same results as them, just to, you know, put yourself at ease that, hey, it's not a problem with my specific laptop that I have in front of me. It's performing as these laptops should. And then after that, I would think it's an optimization thing, just based on how the game was created or coded. There is a huge difference between GPU and for laptops and desktops. Yes, there is. So keep that in mind. So when you look for reviews of it, look for specifically mobile 4070 Ti Supers or whatever. Don't look for, compared to desktop ones. Isaiah says, I just started working so I can save to buy PC parts and build a gaming PC. Nice. Any idea on what your budget is and how much you want to save before you go spending? Like, are you trying to build like a 500, 700, $1,000+ PC? Whatever you build, hopefully you're able to save the money for it. And then, you know, if you don't know how to, learn through the process of the internet to build the best price performance when you can. It's been ages since manufacturers used the same specs for desktops and mobile. When was the last time mobile had similar performance? Because they used to designate it specifically, like GTX 960M and stuff. I feel like, was it the 1060, the 10 series NVIDIA, where they were pretty close side-by-side performance, desktop and laptop? I might not be remembering that correctly, but I mean, when you say ages, I think within the last decade, we've seen that. Alright, what are we looking at for time? It is 6:50. Okay, I do have a pretty hard cutoff today at 2 hours, so we have about 10 minutes left in stream. Today was a pretty chill stream. I've just been we have a lot of stuff going on right now, IRL, so just I've been kind of drained due to that. So this stream was mostly meant to be more chill, more talking, more so than like looking at a bunch of different browsers and windows. Plus there's not a ton of tech news, like Intel CPU is kind of flopping, but I don't think I had an article to bring up, but I didn't even bring it up because I forgot to. But I had this ready to go. Like, Intel hasn't sold a single Arrow Lake CPU at Germany's largest retailer, which it's called a what's it called? Mind Factory, where this person, Tech Epiphany, posts a lot about data from Mind Factory. But yeah, they haven't sold a single Arrow Lake processor, which is kind of sad, but this is Germany, only one store specifically. But I mean, that's nothing too exciting to talk about, except to just, you know, beat a dead horse that Intel's kind of messing up as of late. Not many leaks that I've been seeing of the new GPUs, at least not compared to the previous weeks that we pulled up. So yeah, it's kind of slow right now until they do end up, if they announce anything before the end of the year, if not the beginning of next year. So just pretty chill. Core Ultra is the equivalent in Fast and Furious when when Johnny goes, he says too soon Junior specifically. Fast and Furious 1 is one of those iconic movies that myself and people in my life quote quite a bit. So I know specifically a lot of lines from there. I also love that meme, V-Tick just kicked in, yo, even though he never actually says it in the movie. That is an old meme. What year was that? It actually, what is the... What was the earliest that this... 2007! That sounds about right. Right when I was entering college. VTech just kicked in, yo. Added 15 years ago. But yeah. Fast and Furious franchise, as bad as they've gotten, it's still one of those movies that I always watch. No matter what. Yeah. Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. Three-spoon engines, Multec system exhaust with the three-spoon engines. Come on. Best line, or best Fast and Furious line is forget about it, cuh. Cause we hungry. Yeah, the Tyrese ones, part 2, even though that was kind of weird-ish before they brought back the whole fam. 2 and 3, kind of weird, but still enjoyable in their own ways. Monica! Exactly. What you talking about? You didn't win. Yeah, you're lucky that double shot of NOS didn't blow off the welds on the intake. Exactly. They're rebooting the first one? No way. Okay, I'm excited. Yeah, it's one of those movies that I was like, I don't know. It had such like a profound impact on the like import scene and everything. But nowadays it's just become an action movie with some cars in it. But the original one and then I would say Tokyo Drift were the two that were like, if you're into like cars and mods and stuff like that, and I was at one point in my life, I could care less now. You can see I drive a Toyota Yaris. But it definitely, let's just say Toyota Supras weren't expensive until after those movies dropped, and then their prices kind of skyrocketed. Like, they were popular cars, popular like sports cars, but after those movies released, the prices of them, I remember because I was in like middle school / high school at the time looking at cars on autotrader.com, and I just remember noticing a huge spike in price. Take it easy, Isaiah. Have a good night. Oh, okay. Confirmed it via Craig. The original Super is coming back. Oh man. Remakes typically don't have a good track record of being good. But if you're doing something like the Fast and Furious franchise, which it's questionable, like what did they get on Rotten Tomatoes? Not like that's the true indicator. But, I mean, it says something. Fast and Furious 1. Rotten Tomatoes. The Fast and the Furious. I almost had you, man. You almost had me. You never had me. You never had your car. 74% on the audience score, which is actually not bad. And then 54, which is about as expected. You think critics are going to like Fast and the Furious? No. So, yeah, June 2001. I was about to turn... How old? I was about to turn 12 years old. My birthday is in June. Yeah, I was about to turn 12 years old at the time that this came out. Crazy. What's up, Jack Sonny's vibing. We're about to end out the stream in the next few minutes here, actually. We're ending at 7 p.m. PST on the dot. I got things to do. I got dinner to eat. Oh man. Oh, trick-or-treating tomorrow. Gotta be at the door giving candy to the kids. I sound like such a Scrooge, but I wish I could leave a candy bowl out and kids don't steal the whole dang thing. I wish I could do that. But you just can't these days. So I gotta hand out the candy because definitely Melissa's not doing that. No, don't end, please. I know. I mean, we started the same time as every week, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I know it's sometimes early for other people who are still getting off of work and stuff, but this week I do have to end earlier. Usually we go for like 2.5 hours or more, but I have a pretty full schedule the rest of the week that I got to get stuff done. Talk about a LAN party. I organized an event that had 100 actual Supras in a parking lot. It was epic at the time. Dang. What event is this? Was this a car event? Yes, and there was drama. I went to because I used to have a Toyota MR2. There's a To The Beach event that happens in Washington State. Or I think it might be more Pacific Northwest, but this is years ago. I think I was still in high school. But yeah, it was like a car meet for like a specific car, like, you know, you have a specific model or make of car. But dang, 100 Supras in one spot. I feel like that. How could you have drama? Shouldn't everyone be cool with each other? MR2 versus Miatas clubs. They're making a new MR2, aren't they? Is it still gonna... I didn't... Let's see. Is the new... Oh, yeah. So they're gonna resurrect it. It definitely does not look anything like the Mark 1 or Mark 2 MR2s. But if it still has that mid-engine with the rear trunk and the front... I mean, the MR2 was called the poor man's Ferrari for a reason. The aesthetics of it definitely kind of took inspiration from it, but yeah, man, I got rid of my car, I think over 10 years ago, my MR2. It was a 91, but there's gonna be a new, yeah, they just got to bring back all these iconic, like, you know, cars from the 90s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And people are just going to glaze all over it and buy them despite being the new price tags compared to, you know, back then. Like, all these new cars, like, how much is this new MR2 going to cost? Nowhere near the same MSRP as, you know, the original ones. But, where's the LAN party video? December. December is when it's coming out. I haven't even worked on it yet. It's been a month since the LAN. I like giving myself some time to like work in my head the different things that I remembered and how I want to like sequence out the video kind of. But yeah. Planning to get a Miata one day soon. What's the... See, the only thing about... Like, I'm so done with old cars. Old cars are a money pit. It's plain and simple. Like, from whether it be like the engine, because, you know, over time, depending on what you get, obviously, some makes and models have more, they're more like sensitive to maintenance and all that stuff. But even aside from that, just like everything about it, because it's so old, unless you want to go through and put so much money into replacing every single part, like we're talking like door seals, window seals, just like the interior, if it's leather, like you have to, once a car gets so old, the stuff just goes, and just getting replacement parts, it adds up so fast if you were to basically rebuild the car piece by piece. So I'm done with old cars. Like, the next car we buy will likely be only a couple of years old, if not brand new from a dealership, and hopefully that lasts for so long that I don't even have to think about it. chassis rusting out. Yeah, there's like so many things that will go wrong that I'm at the point in my life where I have enough things that I want to spend time on doing. And if you're a car guy, I get it. Like, you enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I guess it's kind of like us being computer people, right? We don't mind working on older systems, restoring it, testing, playing with it. But other people think it's a waste of time. So with older cars and cars in general, like, I just want to do, you know, my standard maintenance checkups I have to do, change my oil whenever I need to change it, and just use it as a tool to get from point A to point B. It is definitely not my hobby. What 50 series cards are you most excited about? I am most excited about if they come out with the 50/50, to be honest. I'm never super excited about the high-end stuff, like the 50/80, 50/90. Definitely not going to be excited about those. Maybe the 50/70, because those traditionally have been pretty good value-oriented cards and pretty, like, you know, improved performance over the last generation and make them competitive, whatever. But, like, please, $200 or less graphics card. Will NVIDIA finally, like, do you think NVIDIA is listening to any of the criticism or input that people are giving, wanting more budget-oriented cards? Like, wouldn't that be such a good PR move for them to release a 50/50 at $200? I think that's just like a home run slam dunk. They'll get positive, you know, glazed video reviews. All the news outlets will talk about it. Like, I don't know. Brent W says, old cars break down. New cars have too much touchscreen and info collection. Time to buy a 2016 Civic. Yeah. I feel like the mid-2010s cars are like a perfect in-between point. But, I mean, think about that. Like, my wife's car, it's crazy to think about, is a 2014 Civic. She bought that brand new, like, right around the time we actually started dating. And now it's considered a 10-year-old car. When I look at a 2014 car, because of my history with cars, oh, like, my car, years of cars I've owned is 87, 91, and then 2009. I've never had a car newer than 2010. So when I see a car that has, like, built-in backup camera, which I think became standard around 2014, to me, that's a new car, and it's 10 years old. It's just my perception of cars, just based on what I've driven all my life, is that, yeah, like, anything within the last 10 years to me is considered a new-ish car. I just want to see the 50/50 benchmarks. Yeah, I'm prepared to be disappointed, but if they can excite us with something and come in with honestly, it could be a 50/50 that comes in at $200 that is on the same level as like a RX 6600 or 6600 XT. And I think that's a win, because that's a new option on the NVIDIA side of things with the newer NVIDIA tech that is not worse performing than the existing stuff out there. It was bad when they released like the 3050, and the price that you paid for it was worse than you could get like a 6600 for. So yeah, they just need to get the pricing under control. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for the stream. Yeah, I gotta get going. We're now 6 minutes over my my cutoff point. So, expect a weekend video. It should be a fun one. It's a Temu video. As much as people meme on Temu, I think I surprisingly found some interesting stuff, and just the whole format of the video. I think it should be a good watch for you guys. And then we just got Braythorn. What's up, man? It has been a minute. 25 months membership. we're about to just end the stream right now, but hope you're doing well. Have you seen my latest video? I'm curious what your thoughts are. I tried to go as in depth. That's why the video was like 50 minutes long of next gen OEM. But I did give them your name. I think what they're gonna they're gonna try to like incorporate feedback and stuff that I gave for my video. But I said like, if you guys want to send a pre-built to somebody, Braethorn is your guy. So yeah, if they reach out to you, hopefully they do, because I think you could do them a lot of good in terms of giving feedback at anything that I haven't given, as well as just, you know, because you cover specifically pre-builds a lot on your channel, it would help your viewers a lot. But yeah, I gotta end the stream, guys. Y'all have a good night, and I will see you. The Discord server, we're there. We're sometimes popping off, sometimes it's very quiet, but you can catch me there when I'm not streaming or don't have a video released or anything like that. But you guys have a great night. Have a great Halloween if you celebrate it. Have a great rest of your week and your weekend coming up. And yeah, we'll see you in next week's stream. Same time, same day as always. Bye-bye.